Well, this idea that consciousness evolves, that we as individuals, that our consciousness changes and expands and evolves, I think something everybody can relate to. We see the world differently now than we did when we were younger, this kind of thing. The notion of cultural evolution that you're bringing up, I know a lot of people who would probably say, so you're saying culture evolves, which means theoretically that we're more evolved culturally now than we were several hundred years ago. And that a lot of people would look around and say, where's the evidence? We've killed more people in the past century than all the prior centuries, even per capita. You look at what's on television, which is our expression of our popular culture, and it seems to year by year be getting worse and worse. So how does when you talk about cultural evolution, in what sense is culture evolving?
What's really important to remember about stages of development, and remember, in the integral framework that we work with, stages or levels are only one of the 5 elements. We talk about quadrants, levels, lines, states, and types. So levels or stages is only one aspect of that. And so it doesn't cover everything. There's a lot of other things going on. In some ways, previous cultures were more advanced. In other ways, not as advanced. But the thing about stages in any event is everybody starts at square one. So let's use our archaic, magic, mythic, rational, pluralistic, integral. Everybody's born at stage 1 and starts moving through these stages. So the fact that there are certain aspects of modern and postmodern culture that have advanced higher, and certain technological components have, certain legalistic systems are more evolved. We could go into a whole list of things. That doesn't mean that everybody in the culture is at that higher level. It doesn't even mean that the culture itself is acting from that higher level. One of the problems of the modern world is that we have, in the modern world, there are still individuals at pre-modern, pre-rational, really egocentric levels that get their hands on modern technology, for example. Somebody who's acting from a heart chakra or higher is not going to use nuclear weapons to, destroy the planet. They're not going to create Auschwitz. But Auschwitz is the product of high modern technology with very, very primitive levels of moral development. And that's unfortunately what the modern world can have. So it doesn't mean that everything about the modern world is more advanced. Unfortunately, some of the more advanced things in the modern world, like technology, can still be used by people that are at very, frankly, low levels of moral development. And that's one of the great, great difficulties that we have. So what the integral approach has been able to do is, instead of just saying, well, here's today's world and there's yesterday's world, and either today's world is better in all ways, and that's what the progressives tend to think, or today's world is a disaster. We should never have gone past the wonderful ecologically sensitive tribes. Both of those views are very, very one-size-fits-all. They're not a very integral way to look at it. If instead we look at all the different aspects at the different eras, we can see which ways the modern world has evolved, in which ways it has not yet evolved. In some ways, remember, stages means you can regress. And in some ways, the modern world has regressed.